Here's the good news and the bad news. Good news, let's start with the bad news. Schools don't teach you how to make money or manage your finances. In other words, no matter how much you study, you will eventually have to go out into society and, to put it plainly, into the world to make money to support your family, even if it's just to support yourself. For most people, it is not easy to make money. One day, I suddenly thought, if the goal is to make money and money is so hard to make, why isn't there a class in school that teaches how to make money or manage money? School taught us facts and figures, but not how to navigate the real world. Those who learn from their mistakes and stumble along the way eventually found their own path to success. Going to school, getting a job, buying a house, getting married, and having kids became the norm. And that's what families and school taught. And that's what most people did. Our parents often told us to go to school, get into a good school, and get a good job. When we start school, our teachers tells us to study hard, get good grades, and aim for a master's or doctorate degree in the future. But when we leave school and start looking for work, we realize that we have spent more than 10 years studying but still don't know how to make money. So have you ever wondered why this is? Do you remember when you were a kid and adults asked you what wanted to be when you grew up? Most kids say they wanted to be scientists, teachers, doctors. Did you laugh at that? Maybe you had similar thoughts when you were little. Now, have you ever heard a child say, I want to be an entrepreneur when I grow up? I want to be rich. Nah. Then why did this happen? This is actually the result of education. I'm going to show you some of the things that school don't teach, but that you need to change in order to earn more money, manage your money better, and think more effectively. Are you ready? Oh, I'm okay, Ma. And today we are going to review some secrets to making money that you won't learn in school. We are going to take a look at the book named Work Consumerism and the New Poor by Zygmunt Bauman and how work limits us. More importantly, this knowledge may revolutionize the way you think about earning money and make it easier for you to achieve financial freedom. This is a video you won't want to miss. Make sure you watch it till the end and even save it so you can review it whenever you want. Take a moment to think about yourself. How does work limit you? How has mankind over time become a slave to money? In Zygmunt Bauman's book, I believe that politicians, philosophers, and preachers of the time created a morality called the work ethic. This is the idea that work is virtue and not working is a sin. Even if the work is meaningless and unprofitable, you should still work. This work ethic has been around for a long time. Do people who don't have jobs around get looked down on by others? And when you are unemployed, do you worry a lot? It's not enough to preach such morals. You also need to scare the ignorant producers. So they came up with all kinds of reasons why the poor are poor because they don't work. Over time, this forms a deep-rooted idea. It seems that many people still hold this view. Many parents, including myself, use the example of the poor when they teach their children. I remember saying this to my son. Look, if you don't study hard today and don't have a good job, you will end up like them, picking up trash in the future. But we don't realize that capitalists and caterers don't work either, but they are not poor people. Furthermore, the Nobel Prize winners in economics, Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, have highlighted in their books named The Nature of Poverty that the poor are not poor because they are dumber or lazier or lack a job. Rather, they are poor because they were not taught the correct concept of money, how to earn money, and how to spend it in their upbringing. If you have got the wrong idea about money, it's going to affect how you spend it. And if you don't have the right financial mindset, it's going to be tough to get ahead. The conditions of the poor need to be seen in a tangible way. So, the capitalists make the relief and shelter centers inadequate. With bad conditions and even death. Seeing these poor living conditions in the soup kitchens, the craftsmen went into the factories and started to work. This moral system of work ethics needed to be taught. The church school were the first to teach this ethic to their students. The students learned this ethic and ended up in the jobs they were placed in. The person who came out of the education is just a big school or a small school. This is why school don't teach you how to make money, because they always train skilled workers. I'll give you an example to show what I meant. Teachers who teach business subjects in school don't know how to make money either. Many teachers are the best in their field and became teachers because they were good learners, not because they know how to do business and make money. If teachers knew how to make money, they would have left the professions. Besides, not only schools not teach you make money, it will also limit you and make you feel that not working is a sin, so that you are locked in the cage of work. When you question the pointlessness of the job, capitalists invoke the American dreams, which says that if you want to be a big boss, you need to keep working steadily. Every boss does this. What a lie! And the system is built on this. But the producer weren't just going to settle for boring works. They had desire that needed to be satisfied too. So the rulers saw that these desires could be channeled into something positive, and they let people indulge in consumption. Consumer goods became a symbol of status and class, which is great because it means that we can all enjoy the benefits of modern life. If you use an iPhone, it means you are a pretty well-off person. You work in an office and you can enjoy the freedom of Chelsea. As high-end consumer goods become status symbols, we find ourselves in the trap of consumerism. Do you know Korean youth are the most affected by this kind of thinking? They can't afford a house, so they live for the moment, dress up and climb up the material ladder. As long as you buy more and more, you can upgrade because you want more. But if you stop buying, you'll see that the difference between different products is only a few extra features or a unique look. Consumption becomes an aesthetic that replaces the work ethic and rules people. If the first three don't seem like a problem, watch on, because the last one is even more real and scary. The aesthetic of consumption is making work an aesthetic theory. There are countless professions, and every profession has its master. No job is superior or inferior to another. However, under the guise of aesthetics, jobs are often labeled as either desirable or undesirable. On the other hand, those who can work out of interest find their works beautiful. Work without passion is deemed ugly. Graduates from prestige schools can secure desirable jobs and become part of the elite in training. If your education level is not high, unfortunately, you are left with unattractive jobs. People continuously compete for meaningful work, and those whose success look down upon those who do not. But in the end, everyone is just a laborer. Over time, people have naturally formed a consensus or belief that only consumption can bring happiness. To consume, one needs money and a job. So, the purpose of work is reduced to the suffering endured for the pleasure of consumption. But is this really the case? The lie they weave suggests that only through work can one consume. However, the reality is that even with a job, there often isn't any spare money for consumption. So, people settle for pursuing small and beautiful minor joys and so-called refined living. Some even avoid finding partners under the prestige. How can I date if I can't support myself? Or how can I have children if I can't support myself? Working to consume and sacrificing all inherent rights for consumption has permeated every inch of our being. With science and technology, productivity grows and there are more giant corporations. Your work status doesn't affect productivity. You either love your work or you don't. You work or you don't. It makes no difference. Companies don't need more people to make more money. With With globalization, they can always find cheaper labor. Progress means lay off. It doesn't matter if you work or not. You can do it or not, with or without you. New technology creates jobs. But is that true? It's just an excuse to silence people who are afraid of losing their jobs. It's hard for people who have worked on an assembly line for 30 years to join a new career. New careers don't solve middle-aged people's jobs problem. Even if you have a job, you don't have money to spend. People started chasing big money and a luxurious lifestyle. But this is also part of the plan of the rulers. We are caught in a vicious cycle of work and consumption. There's no good or bad about work. We are forced to complete and implode in this system. The only way out is to accept the truth. Find a way of life that suits you and not let the consumerism and the work ethic control you. I hope today's sharing helps you find a more meaningful life. Follow me, I'm OK Ma, to unlock more truths about money. See you next time. Stay tuned.